Welcome, welcome, welcome to yet another episode of Glorious Life on Wheels. And we're closing in on 5,000 subscribers. Won't be that long. Thank you so much to all of you. We were planning on being up in the Northwest for the next several weeks, up in Portland and one of my favorite places, Ashland and Crater Lake, doing some interviews and showing you that beautiful country and doing some iconic dishes, some on the camp stove and some around town. But unfortunately, due to the tragic fires, we have had to delay our trip. We don't know how long it's going to be delayed for, but I'm going to show you a delicious dish today. It's a honey ginger glazed chicken with cilantro. And after this, I'm going to tell you some interesting things we're going to be doing over the next few weeks. So stay tuned and come on and join me. What you're going to need for this delicious dish is you're going to need, of course, chicken. I often like to use chicken thighs because I think they're so tasty, especially with the bone in. But today, since the chicken breast was actually less expensive, believe it or not, than the chicken thighs, I decided to go with the chicken. Oops, I have got some cilantro in here. So I decided to go with the chicken breast. So what I did is I scored my chicken breast, which is meaning I sliced it a little bit so some of the seasoning can get down into it, because chicken breast does tend to be drier than thighs. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how I'm going to season this up shortly. But for this, I'm going to use onion powder. And you know, of course, I love garlic powder. I'm going to use some pepper. And then I'm going to use some minced garlic. And I didn't chop it up. I just got the minced garlic in the jar. And I really find that this works very well. For the sauce that I'm going to be making, or the glaze, I have some honey. I have some ground ginger. I haven't decided if I'm going to use this. I will see if I need it after I put the fresh ginger in. And then soy sauce. And very little else. I do use a little bit, just a little bit of white vinegar in the glaze. And that's pretty much all you're going to need for the glaze. But I'm going to start out seasoning my chicken. Let me put in my garlic powder. Oops, got this garlic powder. As all of you who've been with me for a while know, I love garlic powder, so I'm going to put a liberal dose of garlic powder in here. Then I'm going to add some onion powder. Not quite as much onion powder. And then I'm going to add some black pepper. With chicken, you can also use white pepper if you choose, but I had black pepper, so that's what I'm going to be using today. If I can get this pepper open, here we go. Okay, some ground black pepper, and this is what they call butcher grind, so it's a little heavier ground. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this all up, and then I'm going to put it in my pan. Let me get my pan all heated up here. Okay. And I'm going to put this on a medium heat and let that go. So let's get this all seasoned in here. With it scored, the seasoning goes into the chicken, so that helps get that flavor all soaked in there. I have about a pound of chicken breast here that's boned and skinless, deboned rather, and skinless. So let's go ahead and get this in here. And chicken breast doesn't take that long to cook. Okay, we got our chicken breast all in there. I'm going to add a little bit of butter to this to get it a little extra flavor, about maybe a tablespoon of butter. I don't put the butter just by itself because it will burn. So I add oil to it. You see, this is nice and flavorful there. Got my butter there. Now after it's, I think I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. It's on medium now. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. You can see it's browning here. As you can see, the chicken is already starting to get done. You can see around the edge where this is pink and this is turning white. So that side is kind of pretty much done. So I'm going to get this side done. Now as I'm turning it over, I probably should have used some tongs here. It would have been easier, but we'll get it. Okay, what I'm going to do at this stage, I'm going to add my I've got my ginger, fresh ginger. I'm going to add that to get some flavor in here. And then I'm going to add my garlic, lots of garlic in here. And I'm going to hold up a little bit on my cilantro, get the rest of that ginger in there. Okay. Now let me get this stirred up in here. And we're going to let that cook and get good and flavored there. Now you may be wondering why I did not add any salt. And I am going to add just a pinch of salt, but I'm using soy sauce in my glaze, so I don't want to have this be too salty. You can always add more salt, but if you put too much in, you've got a problem. So we're going to let this go ahead. And that smells good. I wish you could smell this garlic infused with the ginger. Oh my goodness. I think now's about time to go ahead and add my cilantro. We've got this in here, and you can see how this is. I'm going to let this cook down just a little bit because I want to let some of this juice glaze down. I'm going to turn it up just a tad bit. And we'll come back and I'll show you how to make the glaze. I've taken the chicken off and I'm going to put it to the side, but you can see how it's nice and browned and it's completely done, and the ginger is all infused throughout. I'm putting this to the side, and now I'm going to make my sauce, or actually my glaze. So I'm going to get about a cup of honey. And I forgot to tell you, I did add a little bit of cilantro to the bottom of the pot to add to my glaze. So I'm going to put about a cup of honey in here. In fact, you know what? Let me put this down here, otherwise I'll be all day. Okay. I should have had this poured. Next time I'll have this poured so you won't have to wait for me to pour this honey out. But I've got a cup of honey, and I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to turn this on. I always forget to do it with my right hand so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I've got that honey in there. Then I'm going to add about a cup, I'd say about a cup of soy sauce. Maybe not quite a cup, maybe about 4 ounces of soy sauce. 4 to 6 ounces of soy sauce. I want a little more honey than I have soy sauce, so I'm going to pour that in here. And that gets the rest of that honey out of there. Okay, and then I'm going to, instead of putting the whole chopped up fresh ginger in here, I think I'm going to add a little bit of my ground ginger, but I got to turn this down. I got this on too high. I'm going to add some of my ground ginger. This is a packet I hadn't opened yet. Get that opened. Add some ground ginger here. And I'm not going to add too much to start with. I'm just going to add maybe about, I don't know, 1/4 teaspoon or so. Just enough to give it a little bit of a ginger flavor. And then I'm going to get this good and stirred up here. Get this good and stirred up. And I am going to add about a cap full of vinegar. Remember to do it this way. About a cap full of vinegar here. And let's see how this reduces down. I may need to add a little more honey, but we'll see. You can see how it is right now. It's pretty thin, but it should thicken up as it starts bubbling. So we'll see. Put this down here. And we'll come back in a couple of minutes as this starts bubbling up, and then we're going to pour that over our chicken to make our glaze. Okay, I think our sauce is getting ready. I'm going to show it to you. Move it over here so you can see how it was bubbling up a second ago. You can see the bubbles on top. So I am going to take this now and I'm going to put this chicken back on put this back on here, put it back on low, and I'm going to pour this ginger sauce over my chicken. Get all of that cilantro out of there and all that delicious. And I'm going to let that cook a bit. I'm going to put it a little bit higher than I want to cook it at for long term, but just to get it kind of bubbling and get it all these flavors in here and let it kind of reduce down. I'm going to let this cook for a while and reduce down, and it will start, as you're cooking it, you will see it will start bubbling up. Now you can see it's starting to bubble up, and I'm going to turn it down a little bit, but I'm going to start basting this chicken. And you can see this is where scoring that chicken and having those slits in the chicken will let all of this delicious, flavorful sauce to get infused into the chicken itself. I'm going to turn it down, and I think we're just about ready to let this. Oh yeah, I wish you could smell this. Wish the cilantro and the ginger and the garlic. Oh my words, this is just amazing. Amazing. Well, it looks like this is all ready to plate up. See how delicious that is? It's browned with all of those seasons mingled in there. Now comes the fun part, the sampling. I am going to put this down. Actually, I think what I'm going to do for this is this looks so pretty. I think I'm going to sit down to sample this today. So hold on and I'll be right back. Let me go sit down. I could hardly wait to dig into this. It looks so delicious. This looks like something you'd get at a 5-star restaurant, a Michelin restaurant. Let me taste this. Ooh, as this was cooking, I could hardly wait to. This is so good. You can taste the ginger, the garlic, the cilantro. Not too strong, but strong enough to flavor it. This is just yummy. You gotta make some of this. You will love it. I have a lot of people who are on keto, so I didn't serve it with rice today. But if you want, you could serve it on a bed of rice, or you could serve it with cauliflower rice, or just with veggies like I have it here. Some baby carrots, some broccoli, asparagus. Oh, I've got to get one more bite, sorry. And this was so inexpensive. It was $2.99 a pound for this chicken. And so I have about a pound. We had about 4 servings there. And just a couple of carrots, a little bit of cilantro, and rice. How inexpensive is rice if you want to? So this is no more than probably $1, $1.50 for all of this here. I know I said one more, but this is the last one. All right, now it's time for the tip of the week. I had so many wonderful tips, and actually a couple of really good recipes that I think I'm going to do a show that's going to be all viewer tips and recipes. I'm thinking of that, and I'm probably going to do that in the near future. But for right now, the tip of the week came from Jim H. I don't have my glasses on, so hopefully I can read this. He's talking about the cake that I made, the rum cake, last week. And he says, here's a tip for baking on a stove top. The next time you're at a thrift store, look for a smaller cake pan that will fit inside your pan. Next, look for a metal trivet that you can put under the cake pan to raise the cake pan off the bottom of the saucepan. 4 crumbled pieces of foil will work as well. Just make sure that they are the same diameter. This will prevent the direct heat from browning the bottom of the cake or whatever goodies you are baking. That is a great tip. Thank you, Jim H. And I'm going to try that. I'm going to get a trivet. I'm going to put it in the bottom of a pan, put another little pan inside, and see how that works. I have some interesting news. I have been invited to be on a couple of lives that are going to be produced by other YouTubers. And they're 2 of my very favorite YouTubers, Johnny's Journeys and Happy Place Camping. So on October, let's see, what date is that? October 6th, it will be at 8 p.m. West Coast, which would be 11 p.m. East Coast, and I guess that would be 1 hour earlier for Central. And that's going to be on October 6th. I'll be on Johnny's Journey. And then on the 15th, which is a Thursday, at 7 o'clock in the morning, which will be early for me, West Coast time, which will be 10 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time, I will be on Happy Place Camping. That's a Thursday, the 15th. But I'll run that information around the bottom so that you can see it. And hopefully you'll tune in and give them support and just say hi to me while you're at it. I just want to thank you so much. I could not have done any of this without the support of all of you out there. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so much. I just ask you to remember, hit that button, subscribe, share, and come back next Thursday so we can have some more delicious gourmet style food on a budget on a simple butane stove. But I may be cooking on something else in a little while, so come stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. May your journeys be filled with joy and blessings. I'll see you next Thursday. Take care, friends. Bye.